Welcome to the next chapter of the Rapid Recap Movie Reviews. I'm Sebastian, and I'm here to quickly glimpse over and talk about the movies that I looked over and viewed in chronological order in 2021. Up next, certainly the first real artsy movie that I saw in 2021, In the Earth. It was one of the first I saw in theaters upon COVID regulations coming back and allowing us to go back into the theaters again. It's great to be back now. Oh boy, did the editing in this one make me miss the cinema. I'll just cut to the chase. This one isn't for everyone. This is very much a very weird, very much that A24 would distribute and make. Surprised it's not by them. It's either going to bore you with its slow burn pace, or it's going to straight up confuse you with its editing styles as well as its fireballs of flashing lights and bizarre imagery. The movie even comes with an epileptic warning at the beginning. That certainly sets an anxiety-induced tone when you see that at the very beginning of a movie. That's when you know when the filmmakers are about to do some weirdo shit. And it was an absolute delight because of that. So the premise for this movie seems pretty straightforward at first glance, and maybe even pretty bland at the beginning. Scientists researching plant life in a mysterious undisclosed forest in the midst of a unknown virus from an unknown origin. Upon the new scientists arriving to this facility, they are tasked with finding the old team of scientists that got lost within the forest. Upon their journey of running into these scientists that have settled down and made the forest their home, looking like some hobo scientists, they start to get too comfortable around these new scientists, and these new scientists certainly have some creepy values, and they certainly unleash hell onto these characters. Crazy fanatic cult shit that just enriches the environment of where we are. It brings a sense of isolation. Even though it is just a simple forest, the idea of just being trapped and enclosed by some weirdos in a forest is creepy enough, surprisingly. I didn't think it would be so effective. A soundtrack built on digital ambience certainly sounds very creepy, and it brings a sense of what you're listening to is inhuman. I haven't felt this disturbed by a mostly ambient soundtrack since Sinister. Performances from these somewhat known UK actors. The only one I can recall seeing is just the main guy who got completely roasted by dragons in Game of Thrones. That's all I recognize him from. But besides that, though, the UK talent here, they did well for what they were given. Some slow moments in the script translated to slow moments on the big screen. You sort of just want to see more from these performances because you just know and can tell that this talent is capable of more. This cast is certainly capable of showing high levels of intensity and danger. Even though I can't remember their names, it's very gritty in the way they react to the actions of these fanatics, and it certainly mirrors how we, the audience, would react as well if we were entrapped with these same people. I must say though, the first act is certainly a slog to get through because there's nothing at all paranormal or nothing at all that can be seen as creepy. It's certainly a slow build for sure, that first act. It's just normal people hiking in the woods and getting lost. It's not interesting enough, and many shots and scenes certainly droned on for way too long to me personally. And another thing that was odd is that the idea of this world being under an outbreak of a virus, it didn't serve anything at all to the narrative. It was just mentioned at the very beginning of the first act, and it was never referred to ever again within the second or third acts. It's never acknowledged ever again. Nobody ever has their masks. They have their masks on in the very beginning of the movie, but then once they get into the forest, nobody else in the rest of the movie's runtime has a mask. So it's certainly very strange. So I don't see the purpose of it. Maybe they were just trying to be cheeky and they were just trying to just break the fourth wall. It was pretty prevalent seeing it in theaters this time last year, but seeing it now, it just doesn't make any sense. Maybe they were implementing it as some sort of a symbol, as though mankind is some sort of virus of their own, and that what they are dealing with in the woods is sacred and bigger than they are, as if saying like nature prevails, some stuff like that. Now, the makeup and the prosthetics used for when these cult fanatics did some sacrificial acts, it was so brutal to watch because you can tell the filmmakers weren't intentionally looking to make this look goofy or look parody of other violence that you see in movies. They depicted it as realistic as possible, to my knowledge at least. I don't know. I personally have never seen anybody get any limbs disarmed. Those who have seen it, comment below. This is how amputations work, at least from what I saw here in this movie. This is probably the most realistic I've ever seen it before, and oh my goodness, was it glorious. It had me truly wincing in the theaters, so fantastic job to the prosthetics and makeup team there. Now, as for the piece that has stuck with me the most with this particular movie is the editing style, especially within the climax scenes of the second and third acts. When all hell goes loose and we have our main characters attempting to escape these cult fanatics and they get lost in the woods amongst all the foliage and all the artificial lights that these scientists have set up in the forest going off, it goes straight to hell. We just go straight to sicko mode here. It skips sicko mode and goes straight to fucko mode. The use of flashing strobe light effects, both from the actual production sets as well as artificial flashes plagued the screens nonstop for a good few minutes sections at a time. And flashing bright images on screen during climactic chase sequences that certainly hurt my eyes, and I needed to take a moment, actually close my eyes, cover my eyes, or just look away. So I was afraid that I was going to start having a seizure. I'm pretty sure I'm not epileptic, but still can't be too safe. It still hurts my eyes, and I'm sure it's going to hurt the eyes of many people that see this. Burned my cornea. I certainly felt like I was just going insane. Definitely a bit too much at times. I think they definitely overdid it, but still, I remember it. I remember it more than a year later, and I'm talking about it here now. So mission accomplished for the editor, mission accomplished for the director, and all the filmmakers for wanting to make that stick out the most. Should still be on Hulu. The actual entity of the forest that they were hinting at since the first act, we never get a clear glimpse or even a clear idea as to what this entity really is, who or what these cult fanatics are staying for, and who and what they are serving. And a part of me likes that, actually. A part of me likes the ambiguity of it, of not being deliberately told what it is, and we sort of had to just figure it out on our own, or just make up our own conclusive theory as to what it was in that forest that was causing all of these epileptic moments and having an influence on these poor scientists that have just completely lost touch of their humanity and have completely gone full suburbiates. I don't know what the word is for like slaves, like, you know, like willing cult slaves. What is that word? Suburbiate. No, what's the word? I gotta look it up. What is the word? What is the word? Oh, okay, that's the word. I still do not understand what the hell it really was or what it does. All we see are the characters just flip shit as if this entity in the forest is having a big influence psychologically, which of course I'm always a sucker for. Basically horrible acid trips and just, oh my god. Very memorable. And it certainly reminded me on just how fun it must be to just do experimental films like this. Go see movies like this. Go support movies like this that encourage filmmakers to just experiment and go wild. 7 out of 10, a strangely hypnotic and thrilling acid trip indeed. This one made me afraid to take acid.